Hi, welcome to Talking Heads. Today I'm going to revisit one of my project pipe dreams. Right behind me, the Regis Mohawk. Well, there it is in all its fiberglass glory, my project Regis Mohawk. I bought this about 2 years ago, I think it was. I haven't done anything to it. I haven't even done a proper walk around, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll start this within the next month. We're going to get the body off and see what condition the chassis is in. But yeah, first of all, we're going to do a walk around and tell you a little bit about it. Right, well, I'm finally getting around to dusting off my exceptionally rare British kit car produced by Regis Automotive in the early 1990s. This example is one of only 3 known kits out of 9 produced that were ever completed and road registered before the company ceased trading in 1992. Mine is on a 1983 Y-Reg, obviously from the original donor car, but was road registered in 1997. Its MOT expired in 2012, so it's been off the road around about 15 years. The Mohawk was designed by Bruce Dixon, Dennis Webb and Ian Cross and built between 1974 and 1982. It evolved from a previous model called the Regis Ram 4S. This was a Lotus Elite replica, but following legal objections from Lotus, it was redesigned and rebranded as the Mohawk you see before you right now. It uses a galvanised space frame chassis, fiberglass body shell and mechanical parts from a Cortina. I did try to contact the original designer of this car, however I didn't get a reply. Although I did find the owner of another red one, which is the one you see all over the Google images, via Retro Rides. So I got in contact with them and surprise, surprise, they actually replied. They came back with a lot of information, so I do know that most of these parts are sourceable. Okay, starting at the front, we've obviously got the quad headlights. These square ones are actually off a JCB digger of all things. I believe it's a 3CX or the 4CX from the early 90s. They weren't the headlights, these are actually obviously working lights off a JCB. The bumper itself is obviously bespoke with the body kit, the actual whole of the car. The indicators, the front indicators, are actually off an Austin Metro. I believe it's the Mark 1 version. Obviously the bonnet, again, that's part of the kit, so that hasn't been taken from any other car. Right, coming around this side, we obviously haven't got the original wheels, unfortunately. I don't even know what they look like. I haven't been able to find a picture of those yet. This is obviously sitting on non-standard, a set of TSWs straight out of the 90s. I don't know what the model was called. Were they called Blades? I'm not sure, but they're obviously a copy of the Oz Super Turismos of back in the day. Set 16s. I have put tyres on it because obviously in the previous video it was completely flat. Every single one of them had perished because obviously it had been sat on old tyres for well over a decade. Right, moving down the wing, we've got the obligatory Ford side repeater, which is absolutely stuck on, obviously gone yellow, so that'll have to be done at some point. We've got some really funky wing mirrors. Unfortunately, you're going to have to bear with the shadow. It's still got glass in there. In fact, it's got a square one in there. Oh no, look at that, it's got a square one, or rectangular one, and then the other one. Let's put that inside later so we don't lose it. Okay, the windscreen's apparently from a Mark II Granada, so we know we can get hold of one of those. Really badly sealed, so obviously that will need doing again. As I said, down the bottom there is no seal whatsoever, so yeah, that's probably letting a lot of water in. Right, we move on down the side. Have no idea what these door handles are from, whether they're bespoke for the kit, I do not know. It's going to need substantial work here because there's no finishing between the glass and the fiberglass. It looks like it's been very roughly cut. Rear windows, they are missing at the moment. They're not missing, I say, so they're at home. I didn't want them to be broken left in here. Right, should we move on down the side again? Same on the back end, TSWs. Rear bumper, again, that's part of the kit. But coming on the back, the tailgate, it looks like it might be off a Mark III Escort, but it's not. It is actually part of the kit, but it's very, very similar, especially when you see the rear lights. The rear lights are from an Austin Ambassador, as you can see quite clearly there by the logo. However, they are mounted upside down, as you can see by the writing. I'm pretty sure I've got the lenses. We'll have a look in a minute and see if we can put them back on so you can see what they look like. But again, moving around this side, petrol cap, obviously locked. Haven't got a key for it, so we're going to have to get that open. And again, exactly the same down this side. This wing mirror is in better condition with that funky glass in it. Right, before I go inside, we'll go and open that boot up and see if we can get the lights out so you can see them. There we go. I don't think we've got a bonnet stay. I'm going to have to use my head. Yep, use my head. There we go. Ooh, look at that cobweb there. There we go. There's one light and the indicator. This is tricky with my head. Right, so we'll take one of those out a moment. You know, I'm going to put them between my legs. Ready with one hand. Here we go. Put that down. Right, let's press pause a moment and see if we can line these lights up. There we go, there's the ambassador light all in, well, very loosely in, but as you can see it's giving off massive Escort vibes here. Right, okay, I've just noticed we have got the window trims. I just didn't know they were in the back. That's ideal. Oh, almost lost the tailgate of me. That battery tray has definitely seen better days. Well, there's absolutely nothing left of that whatsoever. So we'll take that out, but luckily it's only mounted to fiberglass, so not much of a problem. In fact, there is no battery tray. Absolutely gone, just crispy rust. Right, have we got a spare wheel? Yeah, we've got a spare wheel. What is it? Let's have a look. Knackered as well, yeah. Battery terminals are there, fantastic. Do I dare lift it out? Smells lovely. Again, a bit mouldy under there, but it's got a bit of carpet, so we're all good. Obviously no rust because the whole of this is fiberglass. Stick it back in. Right, let's close the boot and go inside. Right, let's try to stay out of the sun because it's shining right at me at the moment. Let's see if we can get this door open. Oh, I'll tell you what, let's try the other hand. There we go. Right. Oh, that's how I feel in the mornings. Right, we're in. As you can see, there's a lot of work to be done in here. It's got some of the original carpet left, but not a lot. And obviously it's just literally a bare fiberglass shell with a bit of plywood built in there. There we go, there's the side skirт from the other side. I think I took that off actually because it was hanging off. The rear windows are in the car, not at home. I got that wrong. Let's take a look at the roof. There's not a lot to see. There's no headlining. There's nothing at all. There's literally just fiberglass. It looks like it's had a repair job there for the hinge on the tailgate. It looks like it's cracked again. So we'll have to sort that at some point. Lovely bits of, looks like wood in the corners there. A bit of carpet down the centre console. Obviously, I believe that was original as well. Right, I'm going to try to get in and see how strong this floor is. It is only fiberglass. It is flexing, but I believe there's a support under it. Has to be for the seats that came out originally. Right, I'm going to put my foot in. Hopefully I don't go right through the floor. Let's put it right at the back there. Right, we're in and we're not through the floor. Excellent. Right, as you can see in here, a lot of work to be done. The dashboard's got to come out at some point because it's warped. The dashboard itself is from a Sierra. Obviously not the original because you can tell by the absolutely massive gaps either side of the windscreen and down the side. But everything else is there and I believe it all worked. We have a proper 90s Momo steering wheel, which we'll probably keep, which is in reasonably good nick. Nothing else really to note in here. Panasonic radio from back in the day, that probably works as well. Handbrake seems to work. No gear stick because obviously the transmission and all the running gear has been removed from this. Right, the mileage on this, well at least on the cluster, says 62,000 miles. I don't think it's going to be genuine, and certainly haven't got the MOT history on this because there was no MOT prior to 2018 when records began. We'll have a quick look in the glove box because you always find goodies in there. Oh, absolutely nothing. That's a shame. Usually you'll find something. But I found the interior mirror. That's obviously come down at some point. Right, put it back in there. Let's go outside. We'll have the bonnet off and we'll look in the engine bay. Right, the bonnet's off. Let's take a quick look in the engine bay. Not a lot to see because the engine obviously is gone. The previous owner bought this purely to have the 2-litre Pinto and the gearbox removed for it. These were originally designed to actually fit or house the 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder Ford engines that were mated to the Cortina chassis, because obviously this is Cortina based running gear. Oh, excuse me. But this will also apparently allow a V8 from a Rover to bolt straight in. Hopefully my 3.9 V8 that I took out of a Land Rover will fit nice and snugly in there. Everything else appears to be intact though, all the wiring's there, so we should be alright there. The fuse box is still intact and all the other ancillaries. But yeah, the next stage is going to be find where all the mounting bolts are, because obviously I have no idea and there's nothing online. Find all those. I think they're all going to probably need cutting off. Then we're going to lift the body and see what condition the chassis is in before we start restoring it. Right, well that about wraps up this little video on the walk around on the Regis Mohawk. Hopefully we're going to start this very, very soon. So make sure you keep coming back to check out new content on this very, very unique kit car. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, or even subscribe.